Deep in the dark waters of the Atlantic, where light disappears and there is only silence, a group of divers make a treacherous dive. They are on a mission to investigate an abandoned relic of conflict, a sunken ship wrapped in secrecy and lost for centuries. But as they enter the chill, rusty hull, what they find contradicts every imagination. Long-hidden secrets spill onto the surface, complicating history and raising questions no one ever thought to pose. What is in this underwater tomb? And why has its tale been scrubbed from the record? Be prepared to venture into the unknown, where every discovery gives way to further intrigue. U-869 was a Nazi Germany deep-diving, long-range war machine that was meant to inspire fear under the sea. Almost 250 feet long, with 6 torpedo tubes and skippered by a man of nerves of steel, U-869 was part of the notorious Type IXC/40 class, a lethal addition to the Kriegsmarine's arsenal. They were larger, more stealthy, and designed to cause destruction unseen. And then U-869 disappeared. So where did this Nazi shadow disappear to? What became of its crew and mission? As it turned out, the clues were in places no one anticipated, and what was learned altered history. Wartime documents report that U-869 was assigned to cruise off the Strait of Gibraltar, a busy hotspot of Allied naval traffic. The mission: intercept, attack, and vanish. But in February 1945, a U.S. Coast Guard cutter had reported sinking a German submarine off Gibraltar. Sure they'd disposed of U-869, the Allies ticked it off. Case closed, or so it seemed. For generations, the world assumed U-869 had been lost in the Mediterranean. No one doubted the reports, not the U.S. Navy, not the historians, not even the relatives of the 56 German sailors who'd been assumed dead. There were no sonar contacts, no debris, just paperwork. And if you've ever read World War II dispatches, you know how prone to mistakes they are, particularly amidst the confusion of a war zone. But the actual U-869 had been redirected, and what really did happen was left on the bottom for more than 4 decades. The confusion started late in December 1944, when U-boat headquarters first instructed U-869 to patrol off the coast of New Jersey. Subsequently, due to fuel constraints, that order was cancelled, instructing the sub west of Gibraltar, but not in the strait itself. Nevertheless, U-869 never recognized the new orders. Its last signal on January 10, 1945, reported fuel status but failed to provide position or acknowledgement. German High Command believed the boat had taken the revised plan and was lost off Gibraltar. U-869 became a ghost ship. Families mourned without bodies, without wreck, only names inscribed into memorials. Meanwhile, a few historians started to dig. Years and years later, what they dug up off New Jersey would rewrite history altogether. Flash forward to the summer of 1991. Off the coast of Point Pleasant, New Jersey, a team of die-hard wreck divers found something that would turn centuries of military history on its head. Among them were John Chatterton and Richie Kohler, diving legends, both recognized for their technical prowess and daring spirit. The seafloor outside Jersey is a junkyard of lost vessels, so when their sonar swept over a long, streamlined shape 60 miles out at 230 feet down, they assumed that they had stumbled upon another abandoned wreck. Yet what they observed in the water revealed something else. The hull was enormous, draped in fishing nets, twisted and rotting. It wasn't a wreck, it was an enigma. Their initial dive was harsh, icy water, bad visibility, and treacherous currents. The sub's metal was twisted and misshapen, as if to scuttle through a haunted metal cavern. Yet somehow they knew this wasn't any ordinary wreck. Back on shore, they combed through the history books, only to discover no record of any lost U-boat anywhere near New Jersey. Official war logs put all German submarine operations near Gibraltar at the time. What had they just discovered? The wreck was devoid of marking, no hull number, no nameplate, nothing. It was as if the submarine never existed. It had called Yoo-hoo and became fixated. Yearly, they came back, diving in harsh conditions with sophisticated equipment, putting their lives on the line to find the truth. Gradually, the wreck yielded its secrets, gauges stamped German, compartments still intact, and then, one mind-blowing clue. A rusty butter knife, engraved with the name Horenberg. With the assistance of historians, they connected it to George Horenberg, a member of the lost U-869. The ghost ship now had a name. They discovered U-869. But that only made the question more puzzling: why was it here? What destroyed it? It was Herbert Gaszczewski they found. He was a man who should have perished aboard U-869 but did not. Deployed to the sub during its final months, he got sick and wasn't included on the mission. Years later, living an anonymous life in Germany, Herbert had thought U-869 had gone down off Gibraltar, until Chatterton and Kohler called him. When they presented to him the butter knife, the pieces, and the evidence, his whole reality changed. That was Horenberg's knife, he remembered his friend vividly. Herbert never desired fame, but he assisted in identifying other crew and verifying the sub's origin. He died in 2005, leaving behind memories no report could match. His contribution, initiated by one tiny artifact, helped end a historical loop left hanging for decades. Within the wreckage, the divers found a haunting time capsule of existence on a Nazi submarine. Quarters for the crew filled with rusted bunks and twisted books. A mess hall preserved in time, with forks and plates still sitting on tables. A harmonica, leather gloves, and a deck of cards wrapped in plastic, humanity hanging on the periphery of war. The control room's dials and meters still adorned the walls, though many were cracked. The torpedo room was the worst of all. Some launch tubes were still sealed. If the sub was under attack, why hadn't they launched? Or had something gone horribly wrong from within? Then came the speculations. The most chilling. U-869 was destroyed by one of its own torpedoes, a lethal phenomenon known as a circle runner. In rare instances, faulty torpedoes would wrap around and attack their own sub. Evidence in the hull attests to this, an internal explosion compressing compartments inward. Yet another theory holds that U.S. destroyers, USS Howard D. Crow and USS Coiner, destroyed U-869 in February 1945 off the East Coast. Navy reports sonar contact and depth charge attack. Might both have happened? Or was the Navy's triumph prematurely declared, on the basis of partial information? Whatever it was, U-869 is no longer a secret. It is a memorial. A time capsule. A steel tomb containing 56 lives and a tale almost lost to time and mistake. All it took to find it was will, years of risky dives, and a butter knife that wouldn't be ignored.